celebrating a number of things because this is our last hearing of 4 days. So that's really, 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 we're proud of ourselves for doing that. And we're celebrating the school, last but not least. So welcome. And I understand that we've got some performers that are going to perform before we actually start the actual hearing. So whatever you have to do and whenever you're ready.
Microphones.
So thank you so much for that. That was quite a treat. We really appreciate it. And they're going to perform out in the lobby after we're done with this. So PED staff are going to come in. So if anyone wants more photo ops, will be under the lit restricts. So that'll be nice. So thank you. We really do appreciate it, and it um, helps bring such joy to us. And finishing out the hearings like this, it really is nice. So, um, okay. So Lucy, if anyone during public comment and so on does speak in Spanish. Can you translate that for them? So,
We don't have any public comment.
oh. Okay. Thank you. Oh. So what we will do is the Charter School Division will give their report with their recommendations. And then we pause for a moment because on the agenda, there is a spot for tribal input. So we just ask, and then you'll have your opportunity to make your presentation, and then we'll skip public comment. But yeah, no one can sign up now anyway. Yeah. So, and then we'll move to our questions. So thank you once again. And please, when you first speak, introduce yourself, spell your last name, and what role you hold in the school. So thank you. So I don't know who's doing, Lucy?
Yes. Good morning, Chair Gibson and Commissioners. My name is Lucy Valenzuela, Authorizing Practices Administrator for the Charter Schools Division, and I'm here to provide the CSD PED evaluation for Albuquerque Bilingual Academy. Albuquerque Bilingual Academy, formerly known as La Promesa Learning Center, opened its doors in 2005 with Albuquerque Public Schools as its original authorizer. This will be the school's third renewal with the PEC. They changed authorizers in 2010. The school's mission is to ensure that culturally and linguistically diverse students thrive in an academic, family-centered, developmentally seamless continuum of learning, where high expectations, respect, pride, and empowerment meet grade level proficiency. Ms. Elena Troden serves as Executive Director for ABA and is new to her role, along with Ms. Deidre Martinez. Both are experienced educators. The CSD visited the school on Monday, October 7th, 2024. The renewal visit team consisted of myself as team lead, Dr. Bridget Russell, and Kelly Rankin. The Charter Schools Division recommends the Albuquerque Bilingual Academy be renewed for a term of 5 years without conditions. The recommendation is based on the record of the school's performance over the course of the contract term, the renewal application, which highlights adult actions and programs in the service of student progress and verification of those programs and adult actions during our renewal site visit and annual visits. ABA has been designated as a traditional school for the last 2 years through the NM Vistas. The school's Vistas designation for this year is traditional with a score of 50.5. The school's proficiencies are 38% ELA, 35% science, and 17% in math. This indicates that the school saw some gains in ELA and math, and they also did see a small decrease in science. As a reminder, according to the PED and Investas webpage, point totals from school year 22-23 and school year 23-24 cannot be compared due to changes in business rules. The school's growth and performance suggests that the school is making gains every year, even though they continue to struggle in math. New leadership has established effective financial management processes, but the school has received multiple ratings of does not meet and working to meet on financial indicators throughout the contract term. Additionally, the school has had a material weakness audit finding every year. While the number of findings has decreased, the school cannot be rated as demonstrates substantial progress until audit results and other fiscal data confirm that its improvements are yielding positive outcomes. The Part B ratings for the school are as follows. The school met standards for mission-specific goals, educational program, and equity and identity. They were rated demonstrate substantial progress for student outcomes and government's responsibilities. They were rated failing to demonstrate progress for financial compliance and other performance framework indicators. In conclusion, ABA is focused on providing the best education to its students. In the last 2 years of its contract term, ABA went through leadership changes which have impacted the school's performance on the framework. This new team has taken swift adult actions to correct many CSD findings of working to meet and does not meet from the performance framework. Since spring 2024, when the new head administrator took over, adult actions have been initiated to tackle issues, and the new head administrator is making progress in addressing the working to meet and does not meet ratings. Ms. Troden, along with her leadership team, continue to learn about ABA and its contract with the PEC. They are working diligently to put new processes in place so they can have a fresh start in July. The CSD will continue to work and provide any support to Ms. Troden and her team as they need.
Thank you.
Sorry. If there's anybody on Zoom or in the room who is here representing, officially representing a tribal nation or government, please raise your actual hand or your digital hand. Don't have.
So welcome once again. So whenever you're ready. You have to, yeah, okay.
Good morning, Chair Gibson, members of the commission. I'm sure everyone who comes before you has a little bit of butterflies, but I have to tell you, I've also been so excited for this opportunity. I can't think of a better way to start off than our scholars playing for you this morning. I think that demonstrates the spirit and passion and just community that our school demonstrates. And again, I'm looking forward to this conversation so that you could learn a little bit more about us. The first thing I want to start off with is actually our data presentation. My intention is to kind of go through our portion of the
Cindy,
presentation.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Cindy,
I need an introduction of who's speaking and spelling of their name, please.
That's the butterflies. I forgot to say my name. Elena Trodden, Trodden, and I'm the executive director at Albuquerque Bilingual Academy. Thank you. So sorry. We will begin by going through some of our data. And my intention is not to kind of go through each and every score. I think just by the bar graphs, I just want you to kind of see the trends and some data that we've been looking at. We provided a lot of data to the team that went to our school, but this particular presentation has the added scores from the end of last year, the spring state scores. So that was something that's new that we hadn't been able to present before. So I'm going to start off with language arts. And again, this is from the New Mexico MSSA. And what we're looking at here to begin with, this is our third grade over the last 3 years. So that first bar is going to be the 2022 third graders. The middle one is from 2023, again, just third grade. And then our last spring scores from 2024. And again, these are not the same cohort of kids. These are just our third graders each of those years. So just kind of take a look. This is our third grade language arts. Our next slide is fourth grade. We'll go ahead and click through these. Fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh, and eighth. So that's one way to look at our data, just looking at the grade levels and how they have performed over the course of the last 3 years. I didn't add the 2 years before that because due to COVID, there was different, maybe not everyone tested, or there was a year there I don't think anyone in the state tested. So we're just looking at the last 3 years. There's a slightly different way to look at those same scores, however, and we're going to look at it by cohort. So again, we're still on language arts. I'll have you go ahead and click forward. And this is third grade last spring. That was their very first time testing. So we only have one data point for them. This is again, third grade language arts last year. We'll go to fourth grade. Fourth grade have tested for 2 years. So you can see how they tested as third grade in 2023, and then how they're scoring and their proficiency levels last spring when they went to fourth grade. Next slide will show you last year's fifth graders. And the slide after that will be sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade. We'll move on to mathematics. We're going to start off the same way. This first slide is going to show you third grade starting in 2022. Again, these are not the same cohorts of students. They're just third grade in 2022, third grade in 2023, and then our third graders last year. As we move forward, we'll go through fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth. And then we will take a look again, same test, but let's look at the cohort of students and how they've progressed through the years. So we'll start off at third grade. Again, this is their very first starting place, their baseline data last spring. And then we'll look at our last year's fourth graders, fifth grade, last year's fifth grade, how they've done since third grade. Our sixth graders, seventh grade, and eighth grade. And again, I just want to kind of lay out that framework. That was data we weren't able to share with the team during their site visit. So I kind of wanted to bring that together. It's one data point that we do look at. There's other data points that we do consider. But as we move through the rest, I think that is kind of the core. We have to look at data to kind of show us where we are and where we would like to be. And that helps us make those instructional decisions. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Principal Deidre Martinez.
Thank you, Ms. Trave. Buenos dias, good morning. It's green. Thank you. Buenos dias. Thank you so much for having us, Chair Gibson and Commissioners. Thank you for having us. My name is Deidre Martinez, Principal, Martinez. So forgive me. This is my first time, so I as well have butterflies. Our leadership would just like to say a simple thank you to shout out to our scholars. We, do this job for our scholars, so we want to say a special thank you for them. We also want to say a special thank you to our parents who have constantly supported us. We are all new, so we definitely want to say them and trusting us with the scholars. So thank you to our parents. Special thank you to our governing committee as well, or to our staff. Special thank you to Ms. Pilar, Mr. Villa, and Ms. Lucero for our outstanding and honorable mariachi La Promesa team. So just wanted to definitely say thank you. I've been here at ABA for 6 months now, and what an exciting place to be. I've been with public education for 28 years. This is my first time I've stepped into charter school. I'm so excited to be able to have this energy that you felt this morning, that we are excited to start this journey all together. And so thank you for having us. We started off with, some staff members that we needed to start off when I got there in June. So having to hire a few of our staff members was a huge priority when I got there, is this is what we need to do and this is where we need to go out. Just going to a job fair at UNM, it was hard to where we're going to find these people. So asking Mrs. Shirley this morning, we have, I believe, 12 bilingual staff members at our school. So I think that's a miracle. I've never had more than one tour at a school site. So to be able to find the teachers in that capacity, I am very honored. So thank you. Curriculum wise, we are working, and we just met with our parents last night regarding curriculum. We're adopting science, but we are also talking with all of our team behind us, what curriculum we would like to move forward with reading and math, because we believe that's where we need to move forward. So again, we're constantly talking, trying to be innovative, looking at different places in New Mexico, but also out of New Mexico to be able to empower our scholars in that curriculum department. So I just wanted to know that's what we're doing moving forward. So thank you. We're going to introduce Mrs. Nakaya Chavez, special ed principal.
Good morning. My name's Nakaya Chavez, Chavez. And as Ms. Deidre said, I am the principal of special programs and pre-K for Albuquerque Bilingual Academy. When I came into this position, there were some processes that needed to be put in place. So we've worked diligently on that. We have 2 full-time special ed teachers who are broken up between elementary and middle school. We have a full staff for ancillary services. So all of our students are receiving speech, OT, social work, all of those types of services. So we haven't had a break in service delivery. Our pre-K is, we have a full pre-K classroom with a certified bilingual teacher as well. And so we really are starting our program for dual language from the bottom up. And so most of our pre-Kers are fluent in Spanish, and it's just so cute to hear them in the morning having their conversations in the cafeteria and over breakfast. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to come to Albuquerque Bilingual Academy. And again, this is my first year as well to be part of the renewal process. I'm an educator who comes from a traditional public school background. So I have 17 years, with 12 of them being as an administrator. So thank you.
A couple of things that we wanted to address during our presentation was also a couple of the areas that we aren't quite where we want to be with our ratings quite yet. And I'm sure you'll have other questions for us, but we did want to just, let you know that we are being proactive, and they are things that we are working on. One of the things that we're working on that you may find was our safety plan. That is something that, they explained to me that if we didn't make certain changes to last year's plan, that could be something that was shown in our renewal process. And I said, that is okay, because there was nobody listed in that safety plan last year that was left. I don't know what trainings actually took place. I don't know. I didn't even know the place where they had said they had wanted to meet. I had never been to that place. It was a tennis court. I had no idea that there were tennis courts nearby. And so I said, that's okay. We need to completely redo this plan. And so that is what we did. They allowed us to be on a new cohort. We have submitted our plan. We're waiting feedback. But I just wanted to be very upfront about that was important for us, that it wasn't just something in a binder. We want it to be meaningful, like everything that we do. We wanted it to be honest, and it needed to work for us and our current situation. So that was one of the issues. The other piece that we heard a lot about was finance. So I'm going to turn it over to my CFO.
Good morning. My name is Shirley Ceremans, Cieremans. I am the Chief Finance Officer for Albuquerque Bilingual Academy. Over the course, over the course of our contract term, Albuquerque Bilingual Academy was rated does not meet and working to meet based on financial indicators of the charter renewal grading rubric. Therefore, we are not rated demonstrates substantial progress. In reviewing the financial compliance of the contract term, Albuquerque Bilingual Academy has had an audit finding every year. It appears that internal controls and processes have played a huge role in these audit findings. Although we have had audit findings every year, they have been reviewed and changes have been made moving forward. To assist me in all school business, we have hired a business consultant late August to mentor me since the transition of outgoing third-party vendors. Finance meetings are held once a month with a committee consisting of 2 governance council members, a parent, our executive director, my business consultant mentor, and myself. A finance packet is completed and shared with the finance committee. In the finance packet, it provides overall visual of how Albuquerque Bilingual Academy is doing financially, including expenditures, revenue, budget, and balances. It also reflects our cash disbursements for the month. One of the internal controls that I have implemented is for one of the governance council to select 5 cash disbursements from the monthly list. Then I will make copies and the other governance council member will review them. The copies include the purchase order, the invoice, and the voucher. I feel this provides a healthy relationship between the governance council, executive director, and myself. At this time, I have implemented internal controls and processes with accounts payable, deposits, travel reimbursements, and will continue as they come up. As a result, with the assistance of my mentor and my leadership team, we believe that we are moving in the right direction. Thank you for your time.
And for the next portion, we have some of our scholars who wanted to address the commission as well and just say a little bit about why they like their school, because that's why we're here. And are you guys ready? Come on.
Hi, my name is Crisliani Lopez, Lopez. I have a lot of reasons of why I like my school. My first reason because I like going to mariachi. My second reason is because I like my teachers because they teach well. The reason I like mariachi is because I sing some of the songs and I like to play guitar. My last reason is because I like seeing my friends and play with them in the park.
Hello, my name is Irwin Dominguez, Dominguez. Some reasons why I like my school is because I have very supporting teachers that care about my education. They also have a unique opportunity to learn mariachi program and a great sports program. I really like this school because it has a lot to offer, like the very fun programs and many friends. Thank you.
Good morning, buenos días. My name is Angel Castillo, Castillo. And one of the reasons I like being at my school is because of the supportive surroundings. I like always being supported by my teachers and classmates. Another reason is being in sports. I like having the ability to play sports and being in other programs. And my last reason is being in mariachi. I am glad to have the chance to be in this mariachi for 6 years and all the opportunities I've had to learn new stuff. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Santiago Ramirez, Ramirez. I like this school because it has given me great opportunities to grow. For example, it has given me the opportunity to play mariachi and have experience in a job that could give me money when I'm older. Uh, I like this school because it has given me friends and the teachers there are very great and they care about my learning. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Abril Rios, Rios, and I'm in 8th grade. I have more than one reason for loving ABA, but my main reason is the support and fairness each teacher has for us. Teachers always listen and try their best to help us with our problems. Whether it's problems at home or here at school, they always find a way to make you feel good about yourself and move on. I love how it's such a small school, meaning we get the opportunity for more focus on the students. So, for example, I used to go to a public school when I was younger, and I feel like I didn't learn much because there was so many students that they had to move on so quickly. And here at a charter school, I have so much more opportunities, especially with the teachers and the support they have for our education. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sofia Rosales, Rosales. I like this school because everyone knows each other and the teachers focus on everybody. This school allows you to be yourself and accepts you for who you are. They support you and they never doubt you.
Good morning. My name is Said Lujan, Lujan. I like this school because they help us learn well and they care about our health every day. I joined mariachi because I like music and I'm good with rhythm and sounds.
Hello, my name is Yatsiri Lopez, Lopez. What I like about the school is that they care about our opinions. Anything we say about the school, they take it as a chance to make the school have happy and comfortable students. The reason I joined Marashi was because I love the sound of music. It gives me chills each time I listen to music, especially when I make the music. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Citlali Nevares, Nevarez, and I'm in 8th grade. I came to this school 3 years ago, and since then I have had many positive experiences. Starting 6th grade, I met some of the most kind and helpful educators. I am now in 8th grade, and I still get taught by these amazing teachers. However, the teachers aren't the only thing I enjoy from this school. There are also after-school programs managed by our school staff and teachers. For me personally, I think that our mariachi program is one of the best after-school clubs. All of the students in this program have been led to success by our teachers, Mr. Villa, Miss Palma, and Miss Tamara. Not only have they helped me and everyone else with our instrument, but they have also found many places and events for us to perform at. These teachers have also helped me with playing guitarron and singing. This is what I think about our school. Thank you for listening.
Good morning. Good morning, buenos días. My name is Alisa Ma, MOTT, and there's multiple reasons on why Albuquerque Bilingual Academy is a great school. Not only is it a great area place to learn, their after-school programs are awesome, especially our mariachi program. I'm in this program and I play the guitarron. The guitarron is kind of like a guitar, but instead of pulling strings, instead of strumming the strings, you pull them. It also sounds kind of like a bass. This school allows us to, since it's so small, it allows us to know our teachers more and feel more comfortable with them. They teach us and they help us when we need it. Not only is Mr. Villa, Miss Pilar, and Miss Tamara awesome, but our middle school team staff is also awesome. This school is a great school for multiple reasons. Thank you for your time.
Thank you to our scholars who spoke. I know a lot of you were very shy. You did a great job. One of our scholars says she gets chills, and I hope some of you have time to go watch them after, because I don't think I've ever watched them and not teared up. It's just so incredibly beautiful what they do. They're so talented. So with that, I think that's a perfect place for us to rest our presentation, and we're open to questions.
Okay. So thank everyone for speaking. I know what it, including you folks up there. I know, you get in front of a classroom every day and then you come here and it's somewhat intimidating. So appreciate that. And I want to thank you for really the time and effort that went into the application. Because you delved into some areas and you were honest about some of the shortcomings. And, ownership of that is really important. And what I'm struck by to some degree is so many of these students express that they feel comfortable in such a small setting. You've got 400 kids, and that's not, it's not huge, but it's really not, compared to many of our other charters, it's not small. So that the fact that you've created that community and they feel that personalized attention, so that they do have that sense that it is it is that small little school, which gives me it's like some pause if you ever got to what your building cap was, but it's I appreciate the fact that as the school has grown some, it's still focusing so much on the students that they feel that it's that family, and that really is important. So the one real question I have is, and you mentioned in the application that you saw that dip in that sixth, seventh grade area, and you showed it, and thank you for the updated information. So what's talk to us about the plan for moving that up, because your retention rate's pretty good. So those are kids that have been with you by and large, the core of them. So do you have any sense of the why? And more importantly, what are some strategies to work on that?
Thank you for that question, Chair Gibson. Obviously, we're quite new, so I don't know that I know all the whys. I can tell you what we see in the data. Last year, there was a lot of turnover. I think there were 3 of us that held the position of executive director. So one of the things is we're just really focused on building stability and a plan going forward. One of the things and reasons I wanted you to see that data is obviously one of our issues is math. I've spoken with people who have been here for quite a long time, and when they first submitted their bilingual application and came up with their mission, math is one of the subjects that we do teach in Spanish. However, our assessment of mathematics has changed very dramatically over the course of the last 10 years. It's not so much computation. There's a lot of language that goes into assessing mathematics. There's a lot of the mathematical processes about perseverance, really working through problems. In the old days, for example, maybe there was a word problem, and we taught all of our students, if you see the word difference, they're asking you to subtract. If you see the word sum, then that means that you're going to add. Those are some things in the assessment a long time ago. The assessments like that today are not like that. There are paragraphs where you really have to search and know very specific mathematical vocabulary. And mathematical vocabulary is a language unto itself. I usually give this example in Spanish. For example, even in English, how many of us sit around the kitchen table with our children and a vocabulary word such as 1/1000th comes up? That's not something that they utilize in their everyday vocabulary or conversations, whether at home. So again, it's very specific. So one of the things that we are looking at changing and putting into our next application for bilingual and into our next charter is we'd like to adjust the subjects that we're teaching in Spanish just a little to accommodate that mathematical language. And we think if we teach that in English, still have mathematical support in Spanish to, foster that understanding in their native language, that hopefully we'll see some gains, not only for us, but we've gotten feedback from parents who have older students who have gone on to high school at various places, and they've let us know that those courses are very, very rigorous, particularly in mathematics. And so that is one of our biggest things that we would like to change based on the evolution of mathematic instruction and assessment in New Mexico. Sorry.
I appreciate that. And I don't want to forget to applaud you for the number of ESOL and bilingual, because that's just, a commitment, and I'm sure it took a lot of time and effort to try to find those folks. So I really do appreciate that, because we had a school yesterday that was struggling to find bilingual certified. So thank you for doing that. I'm going to just put a quick plug in, because we have a special projects, $10,000 that you can apply for. You probably ignored the email that came out by me. And that also falls on the head of your GC, because I sent it to both. So, but it's $10,000. So that can certainly go quite a bit for, and it's, purchased, ordered through the REC. So you can get curriculum material, you can get some, hands-on goods if that's what you would need. But it's there. It's technically your money that you paid as the holdback of the 2%. It's money that we don't want to revert back to just to the PED or the general fund. So it's best to go to schools. The only qualifier is, and you won't have a problem with it, is you have to show how it's going to support improvement in the performance framework. And then it's very broad on what you can do with it. So if you can't,
Sorry.
sure.
So if I may piggyback off of what Mrs. Trodden said in terms of the feedback we got from parents. So a lot of our students who leave Albuquerque Bilingual Academy, they're going to high schools where math is not taught in Spanish. And so that's another disconnect that we have. And the reason why we're thinking about making that switch as well, because we have to look that vertical alignment, right, long term. And the other thing that we have been doing to address some of those other concerns is actually our instructional strategies and how are we working with our teachers, especially our new teachers, because we have a lot of teachers who are level 1 instructors. And so they need a lot of support with instructional strategies. And so we've developed 3 collaborative team sessions. And so we look at studying book studies and those instructional strategies and how we support them with classroom management, time management. How do we support them in building that teacher toolbox? And so there's a lot of different aspects that we have looked at in terms of how are we going to change or support our students to improve scores. So it's not just simply changing a curriculum, it's really changing how we actually teach our own teachers and providing those teacher toolboxes for them as well.
Thanks, I appreciate that, because I know in your application, you mentioned that each homeroom teacher has a folder that has assessment data and I guess a variety of things. And my question was, is there collaborative time so that, teachers are learning with each other on what do we do with this information that I'm collecting in this folder?
Right. And so that's so funny. I told our collaborative teams, I said, your early Christmas present is there's no homework over Christmas break. However, when we get back, all of our interim, our MOY assessment data will be ready. So our first collaborative session back will be doing that deep dive. And we want to look at it vertically because we need to identify what skill gaps there are from kindergarten all the way up through 8th grade. Because if it's a similar skill gap, then that's something we have to work on in that vertical alignment, right? And make sure that all of us are addressing that. So we're being very thoughtful and intentional in how we're working with our staff and what those collaborative sessions look like. So it's not just, how do you say, like a after school staff meeting where it's all the updates, it's actual learning for our teachers and that collaborative time.
Oh, I really appreciate that. And I just have one final question, and I think it's more to, I guess, Lucy. In the Part A on the very first page, where it says authorized grade levels, I think this is the only time I've seen the pre-K, that it says grant-funded pre-K. Is that different than, this is through the early childhood? Yes?
Yes, all pre-K, all schools that have pre-K are
Grant
grant
funded,
funded,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
So that's
Okay.
just an inconsistency in our reporting.
thanks. Is the Head Start still there?
We have a pre-K.
No?
We have New Mexico pre-K. We do not currently have Head Start.
No, I know there used to be a Head Start on the property. It's not there anymore? Okay. Okay, thanks. I'm good for now. Commissioner Beck?
I thank you. Great performance. But I can hardly wait for the next one. The next one's going to look and really, some of those guys with these big trumpets and things like that. I'm really looking forward to that. One thing I really, really like is how there's one other school that we've dealt with in the last 2 months that identify their students as scholars. I think that's wonderful. I mean, that's something that, gets drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled into them. And I think that's very meaningful for sure. I think that's great. I just have a few questions. What about is your average class size? I'm an ex-teacher, so I'm coming from a teacher perspective here.
So the average class size is 20.
Okay, okay. And I saw on your FTEs, you have 26 gen ed teachers, you have 2 special ed teachers, but you only have 6 EAs. How do the EAs function? How does that work?
So we primarily have them helping with our younger students, so preschool, kindergarten, first grade, and then we do have a special ed assistant, 1 or 2. 2 right now dedicated to our special ed education classrooms.
Yeah, because I was high school, so, but as I've walked through elementary schools, things like that, it seems like a lot of the classes have EAs that really, really help, the whole movement. And I think it was you mentioned, Commissioner Carrillo, somebody mentioned, I think it was him, that what a wonderful way to get them to become new teachers, and have the experience and, quote, the internship, and the sense of culture, and all that. So you might want to take a look at that and see, something about that. I don't know how the finances work with all that, but that might be something to look at. You had mentioned the idea of level 1 teachers and, the challenges involved with that, which I fully get. I've been there, done that. Do you have a mentorship program where you have your more experienced teachers mentoring the younger teachers?
We do, and we have one with
Oh,
us. Miss
as I speak.
Aponte. So I'll let her talk a little bit to that. One of the things that we also did was we did start the year out short-staffed, if you will, starting with long-term subs. So we did make some phone calls to partners that we have across the state, and we said, we have this problem, what do we do? And so one of our partners said, you should try calling the universities, the colleges. They have all of their student teachers who may be looking for placement. And so we did that, and we partnered with Highlands University, and I think we have 2 from Highlands and 1 from Northern. And so we are looking for other ways to bring in new teachers that can also be kind of like on the job training, right? They're already getting that internship in. And what's great is that the teachers that they are sending us, or the prospective teachers that they're sending us, are bilingual qualified. And
Great,
so
great.
we're training teachers who are already going to be ready to come into that school and fill that role should we need it. And if not, we're training some really good teachers who can go into other public schools or what have you, and they're going to be well prepared. But I'll let Ms. Mahalia speak a little bit more about our mentorship.
Oh, yeah, easier. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mahalia Aponte, Aponte. I teach Spanish language arts for the middle school, so I see all our middle schoolers every day. I also am our equity council chair, and I'm also the mentor teacher for my middle school team. So I've got a student teacher from Highlands, she's under me, and another student teacher, or another mentor, pardon me, who's a level 1 and it's her first year. So I meet with them one-on-one each week, and then we meet as an entire middle school once a week as well, where we run our PLC, and I'm giving them a little bit of some instructional support, some different ideas, as well as the updates and things that we need to go through. So I'm a tier 2 or level 2 here. I was coming from North Dakota, so a different education system completely. But it's given me a lot of perspective. So this is my 10th year. I love being a teacher, and I love being a teacher to teachers too. So I'm keeping my middle school team strong and hoping that they want to have a lifelong career in education. So thank you,
Great.
guys.
Thank you. The next question, I guess, would go to the finance person. I noticed that there was 3 or 4 grants that weren't fully utilized. Is there a reason why that happened?
Excuse me. So basically, I started with Albuquerque Bilingual at the end of April. I was learning the processes, but I really didn't know anything about the finances at that time. We did work with a third-party vendor. And I mean, to be honest, I was in the dark of,
Sure.
the finances of what was going on. But I can assure you that moving forward, we will be expending all our grants,
Okay.
and we shouldn't leave anything on the table.
All right, so that sends me to the governing council. I noticed in the part A of the application that, are you the chair? Yes. Okay, hi. I noticed that you had 1 governing board member that has been there for 4 years, 1 that's been there for 2 years, and 3 that have only been there 1 year. And we talk many times about the connection between governing board and the leadership and the functioning of the school and the stability of the governing board is somewhat critical. And obviously, you have a finance committee within the board that oversees all these financial issues. Can you speak to a little bit about my concern, and I'm sure our concern about the turnover, if I'm reading that correctly? Sometimes these can get a little crazy, but I guess this is yours, so it's probably true. And the and the oversight on the financial situation.
Sorry, my name is Brenda Baca, and BACA. Going on that, we did is we had a turnover of a board was due to previous administration. And when we decided change, we needed to change because we did not know a lot of the stuff. When we came in as a board, we came in and administration was, like when you go into a board meeting, a lot of stuff was not told to us correctly. And or at all. So they made their own decisions along the way. So what we thought we were getting was something totally different. And then what was sent to Santa Fe was different than what we voted on. So when we lost half of our board a year and a half ago, we brought in new board members that were willing to work hard and fight for the school, and that's what we did. We came in, and when we brought the new board members in, we decided the previous administration and our previous lawyers and everybody, we thought we needed a whole new change. And with that, we did a change of administration, legal counsel, and everything. So, and that's where we're at now. To go back, and we hired a third-party group to help us make decisions with the new board. The new board decided that it was in our best interest to hire a third-party person to help us make new policies and procedures, and that's what we did, and that's why we're going forward, because the 2 board members decided that it was in our best interest to bring new people in and figure out what we're doing wrong. We need to figure out what's happening and why things are happening. So when we brought out all these new board members, we petitioned them out, and we brought things in like board members are consistent of what they needed. Like we have a real estate, we have contractors, a part board, a teacher himself, and all this other stuff. So now we understand what we're doing.
How often does your Board of Finance meet?
Every Board of Finance meets once a month.
Well, that would be a challenging situation for sure, having to deal with that. So you feel pretty confident that these board members are going to be consistent throughout a few years at least?
Yes, we made a decision as a board member that we
Good.
fight together and work together, and
Good.
that's what we're doing.
That's it's so critical to the success of the school. That's really critical for sure. So
Yes, and I would like to introduce our board members. I have
Sure. Love
Mr.
to.
Chris Mott to my right. I have Mr. Sean Christoph, and then I have Miss Cynthia Guido on that side. Absent is Mr. Jose Garcia and Tiffany Bazan that are not here because they're.
thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. That's real meaningful to us. Sure. All right, I got one more question. Got to bring two of the boys up to talk about sports program. Got to tell me what the sports program's about.
On head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's put that over there.
About
They're gonna ask you questions about the sport.
I'm a sportsaholic, so I've had a very hard time yesterday and the day before in my hotel room because not a lot of sports on. So it's been pretty brutal. But tell me about the sports program.
I'm Francisco Hernandez, Hernandez. I was in the basketball and I am gonna be in the soccer program. The basketball program, we have good coaches and a good basketball program in general. Also, we do have a good coach for our soccer program and our volleyball program. We also have a good coach there.
So are you in a league, like a middle school league, or?
We're in the middle school charter school league.
Wow. How many charters are in that? Do you know, roughly 5, 6, something like that?
In the basketball league, there's around 11 to
Really?
13 league
Wow.
teams.
Oh, great. That's awesome. What high school would you play for?
What high school am I gonna attend to? Probably Trisco.
Trisco. Oh.
Trisco Heritage.
Yeah. Oh, stop.
He just beat us 2 days ago in overtime.
He's
a demon.
He's worse than me. The only reason why he comes down to Albuquerque is for basketball and football games. Okay, great. You have anything to add?
Just like to add that we have really great coaches and I like the program.
That's great. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Awesome.
Commissioner Beck.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Commissioner Brower and then Commissioner Taylor.
Oh,
Thank you, Chair. Sorry.
our board president wanted to add something to the sports questions that you had, so if she may.
Yes, last night we had a meeting with our parents. We had a facility meeting and a parent meeting. And we are going forward in looking at doing our plans of building soccer fields for our school. And we're looking at also thinking of going in with the field and a gymnasium.
That's wonderful. You're very cash rich, it looks to me like, with your operating cash. So I think you've got some good funding to be able to do that. So great. We love it.
About the grants so we can write them.
Thank you, Chair. And Commissioner Beck, you almost stole my thunder there, so I'm glad you stopped right there. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you to the student leaders. It's so great to see you all shine through this and bring your full selves to Santa Fe and to this room. It definitely makes this work so much better as we see you all shine in that way. I also just commend the young people who transition from performing or who will be performing and also speaking in front of us. Those are two very different skill sets and sometimes really hard to navigate both of those and shine so well. And so I commend you all for that. And I speak as being a trumpeter way back when, like, I won't give you the decade in which I played, but the young men who were playing the trumpet, you made me really proud. And I can't wait to see all the others jump out, including all the other musicians. Thank you, ABA team, for all the work that you've been doing. I'm going to support your school for a 5-year renewal. A lot of the questions have already been asked, especially around the finances. I did want to share to the commission, especially around equity, the equity work. I can't remember if you were, I can't remember if we met during this time, but way back the very beginning of my tenure, I was working with some friends to do this work around, it was called Sin Fronteras. And your school opted in to an additional training. And then one of my friends was in a pinch and she was like, Alan, can you do this training at this school on stuff that we've been working on in terms of culturally responsive teaching and getting culturally responsive profile set up for young people. And so I had a training with some PTA and staff members during that time. And so I just think about that as doing above and beyond, exceeding what many other schools are doing and opting into additional profound trainings is something that I know from firsthand that you all are doing. And so thank you for that. My one question has to do with the operating year. You got 129, at least as of last year, 129 days of cash on hand with unrestricted funding, which is great, which sometimes, from my experience on a governing council on another charter school, when you have all that much money, sometimes it's not, there is schools that are not as fortunate are really good at getting their reimbursements done, are really good at spending down funding. So not making an excuse or giving you an excuse. You ought to use the state funds that you receive for what they're funded for. But I can understand with that much in your treasury that sometimes that may not feel as impactful. So I have a question with that funding, and I was just curious, is it continuing to grow in this upcoming in this fiscal year? Because you had over 2.5 million in unrestricted, which is 130 days of cash on hand, which is great. If that's the same, like what are the plans as a team? I hear a soccer field, so that's going to take. If that's a turf field, like okay, no more is going to happen after that. But I was just curious what you all are planning for that funding.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that we do have a permanent cash transfer that I had submitted because it initially, I guess it was initially submitted incorrectly. And so that's why we had to do the permanent cash transfer. So that I think was 1.5 million. Is that the transfer? Yes, and it was from the sale of a building or our previous building. And moving forward though, with what we have, we have to account for for some reason, if our enrollment decreases, we need to make sure we're going to have cash in order to cover our expenses that we have right now, if anything changes. Also, yes, we are looking into building a soccer field and a gym. With all these grants or, if you know of anything to tell us what we need to apply for, that helps with that. But we just always want to make sure we have something to cover ourselves, in the event we're not getting as much reimbursement as we're used to.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you. I have just one question. It's from more of a personal preference, but I farm for a living and run a nonprofit organization around agriculture. I know that you all were talking about that the year and a half or 2 years ago when I was there. There was a new little hydroponic system that was in one of the rooms. Can't remember the person who was in charge of that. I was just curious if you all are doing anything around agriculture, around gardening, especially given the space that you're located.
So based on the plans that we had or preliminary plans that we showed parents last night, when we redo some of the grounds, there's going to be kind of like a shaded garden area, and there are plans for to grow food and things like that. So according to Miss Brenda, she has all the big plans.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all I have. Congratulations. And again, thank you students for coming in. And I can't wait for the post adjournment stuff we're going to see. So yeah.
We joked and we said, if we're not renewed, we're just gonna put them on the bus and we're gonna hightail it. So there's no extra. There's no extra. Just saying.
Yeah, I want to say that first of all, how many buses did you guys have to take?
One.
One.
A huge charter bus though.
Yeah. Good job. I was thinking there's probably a whole fleet of them out in the parking lot. I know, right? Again, reiterate just the fact that it's so impressive to see this place filled with people who have an interest and love for the school and the program that they're in, and what a fantastic opportunity to be able to go to school and take mariachi. How awesome is that? So anyway, so many great things going on. When I looked at the when I looked at the audit, one of the notations made by the auditors were that the foundation didn't have a board in charge of finances. Has that been rectified? And
Yes. So when I first came on board, I think there may have been one member left on the foundation. It really wasn't a functioning foundation. And so that was kind of one of the first orders of business. And so I think we have found some really dedicated people, again, that are sincerely interested in seeing our school succeed. For example, one of the people on our board, our foundation board now, doesn't have a student coming to our school, but had used our facility through sports. And so, has a vested interest in that way. And so I think it was day 8. I think we had a foundation meeting. We have new officers, and I was like, okay, that was a good day 8. So we do. We have a really strong foundation now.
Great. And then it sounds like in previous discussion that you have some processes in place or putting processes in place to not have continued audit findings in the future. So everybody gets in a situation where, something happens, we look back and we think, oh, why'd that happen? Why'd we do that? But the important thing is to think about and process, or think about the processes that are going to prevent it for the future. So it sounds like you all are doing that. I did look at, when I was looking at academics, your science proficiency went from 46 to 25, from 2021 to 22-23. Is there a reason for that? I mean, is there a plan in place to improve that? What are you guys doing?
Sure. That's a great question. Again, I don't know all of the whys. Or maybe nuances that I'm not aware of being newer, but from what I can tell, there was turnover in science staff. When coming in, that's one of the areas also that I didn't see a lot of when I was walking through rooms. I didn't see a lot of science equipment. I didn't see a lot of math manipulatives. So those are gaps that we are trying to fill in with some of our grant monies that you're talking. If you want to know what we're buying, that's what we're buying. So some things like that. And then we do have, in some situations, a younger staff, newer like tier 1 teachers. So that's where those instructional practices coming in. I know, Ms. Martinez, if you want to jump in, we're doing a lot of work with engagement. Do you want to speak to that? If not, I guess I'll jump in. So for example, we want to make sure that all of our scholars are engaged in a lesson. So it's even how we ask questions. We can ask a question, who knows the capital of whatever, and we might get hands up, or we might have the traditional, where they pick a popsicle stick, but we're only engaging that way one student at a time. So we talk a lot about, or we're learning, our teachers are learning how to ask engagement questions. Turn to your partner and discuss da-da-da. So they have partners they're set up with, and the teacher walks around, they can check for understanding, or maybe it's a whiteboard and, you know, everyone is answering a certain question and they hold up. So how do we engage every single student in that class, in that lesson, and not just one at a time? So that's one of the things we're tackling with our instructional practices.
And also through our collaborative sessions, we've been talking about different instructional practices, such as like the gradual release model. So how are we actually presenting the lesson? First, the teacher models it, then we do it together as a group, and then you go back with your partners or your small group and you do it together. And so, you know, setting those expectations, you're beginning your class with a 5-minute bell ringer, then you're going into the introduction of the topic, then we're doing it together. You know, it really has to be that part of the engagement, but you can't just hand them something and expect them to do it. So if you have a system in place like the gradual release model, then it also keeps the teacher engaged with the students. And so it really is about teaching, again, best practices. So as leaders, we have to be teachers, you know, like lead teachers to our staff, and then have our staff implement that also in the classroom. So we're really looking at what this change looks like from the leadership all the way down. It can't just happen in one area.
One other thing that I will tell you about, if anybody happens by our school, we'd love to show you it. We have a new addition to our school. It's called a Star Lab, and it's kind of a dome looking thing. We can actually fit probably about 50 kids in there. If you pack them in, we don't ever do that. It's nice to have some room. But basically, it's kind of like a mini planetarium. So, but it's not just for space. There's different videos we have on all sorts of science topics, social studies topics. You could actually even do math lessons if you have like a 360 kind of video. We're about to have some professional development on how to better utilize that, but we're very excited. The kids, we're all excited when we had it up and they got to go in with their classes and see some of the videos that we have, whether it's animals or space or, you know, something that you may see at the planetarium. We have videos like the evolution of our solar system or, you know, things like that. So again, we're trying to bring in more science curriculum and materials to use.
Great, thank you. Thanks again.
Commissioners, I would be remiss and if I didn't say, this is such a 360-degree turn for this school, that the school was within a hair's breadth of not being renewed the last time and put under a very, very strict cap, which they did pull themselves out of, but it just didn't make that turn that it should have. And primarily because what we're seeing in front of us now was absent at that time, and that's a team. You know, and this is absolutely, you know, it is, you know, it's remarkable the change that has taken place here. It really is, and I'm just so pleased to see and hopeful for the future, because it just, you know, this is a school that serves that community and is so important to that community. And I mean, the proof is the community has continued to support that school and fought to make the changes in that school that was necessary. And sometimes that's really, really, really rough. You know, and it's hopefully that testament to this team that you're weathering it quicker and moving forward. And I just want to thank everyone here for any amount of effort that you've been part of to get this to where it is now and why you know, the future looks great. Commissioner Carrillo.
So, very first, I just gotta thank. Microphone, please. Microphone. Commissioner Carrillo, your microphone. I can't hear you.
We can't hear Commissioner Carrillo online. They must not be able to hear us, Cindy.
Wow, I'm going to chat.
How's that? Check, check. Okay, so anyway, I wrote down
Yeah,
here.
we didn't hear any of it. Nothing that you said
Okay.
at all.
I told the kids what amazing patience they have, and this will all be over soon. And so, remember the movie Jerry Maguire? When Renee Zellweger says, "You had me at hello." You had me when I saw all the kids walk in. Okay, it was done. We could have just, yeah. I mean, we love that so much when kids come to us and when you perform, when you speak, when you're eloquent. So, in terms of a theme of what the kids spoke about, supportive teachers. So many of you said you feel really supported by your teachers. And that's huge, because if you don't really have a partner in a teacher, it's going to be really challenging on all levels to move forward. You all took the little note on the grant. I saw when she said that, everybody wrote that down. So that'll be in soon. Hey man, that's your money. Your money. The last thing we want to do is give it back to the general fund. Okay? And we're going to start making this a habit when we are able to. Let's see, EAs, this may be something that all of us can work on. I mean, I remember when I was working as a permanent sub at Adelaide Elementary School up here, I don't know, they were paying me like $9 an hour or something, even below the Santa Fe minimum wage. It's like I was doing it because I really wanted to do it and I had another job. It's like, if we want to have EAs that want to be teachers, we've got to pay them something livable. So that's something, you know, even for our charters, district schools, we've just, there's that natural pipeline. They're already interested, or they wouldn't be in these classrooms. So when you were speaking, Ms. Trodden, this reminds me, everything that you've said and what you've gone through reminds me, when I was on the Santa Fe Public Schools Board, which I did for 9 years before all this, we had a couple schools when the feds were offering the turnaround model. It was a 3-year model. It was a bunch of money. You pretty much had to fire everybody. And that was certainly at the management level. Let's face it, they're responsible for the school's failure. And what you're going through, and all of you have such a new staff, but an impassioned staff, just really applaud you for that. What you're taking on, where you are right now, exactly what Chair Gibson said when she remembers, you know, 5 years ago. And so I mean, it's pretty obvious. I'm going to support right. I'm going to support a renewal because you had me at hello, right? And so are you doing right now professional development around what you said, increased engagement?
Yes, sir. That's exactly one of our priorities is in the engagement. I also want to say I did take place in the turnaround program. I'm an alumni from when I used to work with the University of Virginia way back in, I don't know, like 2013. So absolutely, we've used some of those leverage points and things in our situation. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Yeah, bringing that here. I'll look forward to when you have your soccer field in your gym. Certainly you have the money for it. Don't get grass, get turf.
Okay.
And when you get grass, you get nothing but prairie dogs and holes and injuries. It's a nightmare. And we replaced everything up here to turf for that reason. And also the amount of water you save.
Yes.
So I really don't have any other questions. The financial stuff will probably be in a motion in terms of, you know, additional things you need to do. Just thank you. Thank you very much for what you're doing in your community.
Thank you.
So I move that the Public Education Commission approve the renewal application for the Albuquerque Bilingual Academy for a 5-year term with the following conditions: that the school's record of performance demonstrates improved student academic growth in math, that the school identify a robust strategic educational plan to improve student outcomes and appropriate staff professional development related to content instruction, and that the school demonstrates that it is improving its fiscal processes with a goal towards reducing audit findings and fully expending grant funds.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry, I forgot the last paragraph. The specific immediate actions needed above will be outlined in the school's negotiation contract documents. The first annual report will confirm completion of the items listed above, or if the concern is not corrected, will identify the uncorrected, unsatisfactory performance on each item that will be subject to further PEC action.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Gibson and a second by Commissioner Carrillo. And Commissioner Brown?
Madam Chair, I'm gonna vote for this. I was going back and forth on whether or not to have conditions. I'm still not completely married to it, but my thought is, given the newness of leadership roles, the newness of the governing council coming out of when you have a transition of head, do you call it head administrator at your school? And your governing council, there's some changes there. I see this as an opportunity to support during this transition. And I think still it is, it is, and you all are still in transition down to the business office. And so I just wanted to share that I had a little bit of tumult of going fully behind these three, but I'm resting on it now because of what I just mentioned. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'd like to see if you would consider a friendly amendment where you talked about improving math. Could we also add science to that since her proficiency's dropped so much? Okay.
Can we add just all academics?
Sure.
Just
sure.
academics in general?
Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha. Yeah. Commissioner Brower kind of stole my thunder because I was there, but because you're all so new, I have incredible hope. I really do. I do. And I have confidence, not just hope, but I do have confidence. But I think this helps to hopefully support and guide. Yeah. Commissioner Carrillo?
And so I agree completely. We don't have questions of you at this point. It's only internal. But and I would just say, Ms. Troughton, you probably remember very well when there's a turnaround model, there's also regular accountability meetings and making sure you're on track. That's why everyone's getting all that cash, right? So I agree completely that because this is new and it is in no way reflective on our lack of confidence in any way. The thing that I didn't mention, and I'll just mention it now instead of asking the question, is one, so happy to see 4 board members here. Huge for us to see that, because as Commissioner Beck said, when boards start to go like this, schools start to just spiral downward. One thing I would consider based on kind of our amendment is, if you don't do it already, just to have a placeholder in your board meeting. This is just me suggestion, where you're constantly communicating with one another about academic progress and what you might be doing to fulfill the amendment.
Thank you.
Condition. Yeah.
Okay, so our final school out of 20 schools we've done in the last 4 weeks. Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
Commissioner Brower.
Yes.
Commissioner Manus.
Yes.
Commissioner Burt.
Yes.
Commissioner Klasha-Sillage.
Yes.
Commissioner Ingham.
Yes.
Vice Chair Carrillo.
Yes.
Chair Gibson, Secretary Beck, yes. There are 9 votes for, 0 votes against. The motion passes. Congratulations.
And that we are in recess until 8:30 tomorrow morning.